We spent 3 days in the inner city constituency of Dublin Central.
You again, sick looking at you.
Trying to decipher what this place tells us about the Irish general election on Friday.
And one last supplementary question. Are you knackered?
Not at all. I'm more really energised, I can assure you of that.
Other questions. Why is this reputed Gangland boss running for office here?
I've made me money through property.
Is this candidate a Russian asset?
What a load of shite.
Can we percolate any of this into a coherent thought about Irish democracy? No, we cannot.
Jesus loves you, my friend. Thank you, sir. Thank you.
There are 13 candidates running for 4 seats in the Dublin Central constituency. It's one of the country's most socially and ethnically diverse places. Set the scene for the Easter Rising in 1916 through to the Dublin riots in 2023. They were synonymous with growing anti-immigrant sentiment in Ireland. Record numbers of refugees and migrants arriving here in the last 5 years, and many into working-class neighbourhoods like these. The leader of Sinn Féin, Mary McDonald, expected to keep her seat here.
So how are you doing? You're not wearing your chain now, I see.
Come here, now. I'd be mugged if I wore that.
Sinn Féin's left-leaning pro-migrant stance was seen by some as a betrayal. Then the day after the riots, McDonald called for the Irish Police Commissioner and Minister of Justice to resign, perceived by some as using the riots for political gain. Since then, Sinn Féin has spoken about not putting asylum accommodation in poorer communities.
Why on earth would you bring another cohort of very vulnerable people who need support into areas that are living hand to mouth? That doesn't make sense.
Did you call it wrong after the riot?
No, I mean, I think I recognise just how badly things had descended in our city, that I don't think any of us who grew up here, who live here, ever thought or expected that you would see scenes like that, and I hope we never see it again.
Up over the roofs of the council blocks in Dublin Central, the glass houses of the Irish tech sector. Ireland is quids in at the moment with money from windfall and corporate tax receipts. Against the backdrop of a housing crisis, all the parties promising to build thousands of new homes.
Thank you very much for coming out.
Come from Armagh.
Pascal Donoghue is one of Fine Gael's big beasts, part of the ruling coalition, also expected to retain his seat in Dublin Central. What manifesto commitments would they ditch if a Trump presidency and promised tariffs shrunk the Irish economy?
So certainly what I would be aiming to do is, in such an environment, aim to continue to prioritise public capital investment, in investing in more homes and investing in greening our economy. After that, we'll be in that environment. Many of the commitments that are in our manifesto that we are going to the Irish people looking for support for, you'd need to phase then in over a 5-year period. It would inevitably involve choices, but I'm confident we can make the case for that were we in government at that time.
Then from macroeconomics to micro-constituency politics.
I mean, you're literally running alongside an alleged Gangland boss.
Yeah, I think it's a particularly extreme case of diversity here in Dublin Central now.
Gerry The Monk Hutch is also running for a seat in Dublin Central. Got the nickname because his frugal image didn't match what you'd expect from someone at the centre of a gangland feud.
Garda appear powerless to stop them, and all because 2 tribes are at war.
The Kinnan and Hutch gangs fought it out here, terrorised this neighbourhood. Multiple shootings, armed police at checkpoints. At the boxing gym he started, the monk answered a small number of pre-agreed questions. Is it fair to ask a would-be representative how they made their money?
I've made me money through
question
property.
for me to ask you?
I've made me money through property, through deals over the years.
What kind of deals?
Property deals, buying, selling property.
Is that it?
That's it.
And when you become TD then, if you become TD, you'll have to declare all your financial interests and your assets. Will you do that?
Of course. If I become a TD, I'll be turning a new leaf in my life, and I'll be working for the next 4 or 5 years for the people.
It's unlikely that the monk will win a seat, but his presence on the ballot paper speaks to something bigger. The rise of the independent candidate in Irish elections. There are many reasons for this.
Migration policy is not working.
Some, like Malachy Steenson, coalescing around the issue of immigration. Others, like Claire Daly, making the case for socialism. The former MEP has over the years been accused of voting in line with Russian foreign policy. So for the record, are you a Russian asset?
No, for the record, no, I'm not. I'm not pro-Russian, I'm not anti-Russian. I'm pro-peace.
Again and again, housing comes up on the doorstep. This young mother sleeps in the same room with her 3 children.
So you're looking, so housing is the biggest issue for you?
Yeah,
then,
if you get in with it, please address the housing, because there's too many of us in the house here and we're really struggling. We can't get anywhere bigger.
And what, this is a 2-bed?
2-bedroom, and there's myself, my son, my 2 daughters is in with me. Yeah.
And you've probably been on the list for ages, have you?
Yeah, and we have a medical priority and we still can't get anywhere.
One of the big questions in this election, what impact independence will have on other parties' vote.
The greening of specific areas of the constituency.
Aside from Sinn Féin and Fine Gael, the Greens' Nessa Hourigan is defending her seat here. As is Gary Gannon of the Social Democrats.
It's proper community representation, proper national solutions to our societal ills, particularly around housing and healthcare.
Once upon a time, Dublin Central was a Fianna Fáil stronghold.
I'm Mary Fitzpatrick, and I want us to move forward together.
Their candidate, Mary Fitzpatrick, though, far from guaranteed a seat.
Please vote Mary Fitzpatrick.
At the Dublin portal, O'Connell Street, a live feed of other cities, a mirror for Dublin Central. And like the new politics of this place, no one quite sure what will happen next.